Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my new channel, Joey's Nightmares. This is going to be a channel where I'm going to be doing a lot of true scary stories and a lot of creepypastas. If you guys have any suggestions down below, please write the comments. And well guys, let's get started with the top 3 true scary stories. It was late fall in my senior year of high school. I was driving myself to school at this point and usually left around 7:15 a.m. to start the 20-minute drive. My parents' house is a split level, and I was putting my shoes on at the landing in between the two levels. My mother and father were already gone to work, so I was home alone. I grabbed my coat and went downstairs to go out the back door. I feel the need I need to mention is we live in a large lot with a lake and dense woods, adding to the spook factor. It was also still pretty dark this early in the morning. As I'm putting on my coat and getting ready to step out into the early morning fog, I hear heavy footsteps on the stairs, headed to the top floor. The house has a hardwood floor, so you can hear every single step and shuffle. My first thought was, oh, my dad must have left his phone at home or something. I walk back over to the stairs and yell some smart-ass remark about him always forgetting something. I wait for an answer and I yell up again, "Dad?" I wait again. When I'm met with silence, I make a swift turn and double time it to the back door. As I reach for the handle, I pause and hear rapid footsteps following my escape route pattern on the first floor, through the kitchen and into the dining room, stopping at the upstairs back door right above me. Now, when I say rapid, I mean crazy, crazy fast. That inhuman kind of speed that gives you chills in all the scary movies. I yanked open the sliding door quickly, stumbled out, slammed the door shut behind me. I ran to my car as quickly as I could, back it up to turn around in the driveway and face the kitchen window. I stare for just a second or two and notice one side of the curtains pulled back just a little. I get a new wave of chills just as I see them thrown back down. Needless to say, I got the hell out of there. I've never been so scared in my life. I did end up calling my dad. He went home and checked the house. Nothing was amiss. No one in the house at all doors locked, secured. So in a nutshell, today was very much unexplained occurrence. My mom and I were visiting friends and family in Alabama. We were at her friend Amy's house and they were telling me about all the dumb scary pranks they did in high school and different urban legends from the area. Before we left for the night, Amy told us a story my mom apparently hadn't heard since she moved away after high school. I was sitting on the trunk of the rental car as she told the story in the driveway of her house. The story was about a specific four-way stop where a woman had been hit and killed by an 18-wheeler. It was a hit and run, and they say that the ghost of this woman jumps on the steps of 18-wheelers that pass through, checking to see if it's the driver that killed her. Needless to say, we had to go through this four-way stop to get home. We got closer and closer to the stop, but couldn't really see when it was coming up on account of very little lighting on the back roads of Alabama. My mom and I were joking about how glad we were that we weren't in a big truck. Next thing you know, my mom says, the trunk is open. "Shut up, that's not funny," I said, thinking she was trying to scare me. She pointed to the illuminated light on the dashboard, alerting us that the trunk was, in fact, open. We pulled up to the four-way stop, and she asks, "Can you hop out and close it, please?" "Hell no! You can get out there and do it yourself." We looked at each other for a moment and decided to wait until we came to a well-lit parking lot to go close it. I kept looking back to make sure it hadn't flown open. My mom drove through the four-way at an incredibly slow pace to make sure it stayed down. Then I get to thinking, hey Mom, wasn't I sitting on that trunk before we left? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, the trunk slams shut. And I mean slams, like full force, from fully opening and slamming down. My mom and I had one of those comical movie moments where we turned to look at each other, turned back, and then screamed bloody murder. My mom then floored it, and we raced to the nearest parking lot, frantically screaming nonsense, trying to explain what could have happened. The trunk light was still off, and we pulled up into the lot of a parking lot. We both got out of the car, and we went around the trunk. On the bottom of the trunk, where it was well lit, were two muddy handprints. This is by far the most scariest experience I've had in my life, and it wasn't even me being stalked, it was my ex-girlfriend. 4 years ago, we were both 18, and just started community college nearby. Our schedules were pretty similar. We intentionally put two of our 5 classes with each other, and took lunch off at the same time so we could eat with our friends. And we saw each other a lot. A month and a half into school, my girlfriend starts to tell me that she's noticed a guy who's been following her around campus, and she describes him as someone who looks like they work there. I asked her to recount some particular instances, and the only one she's told me was that he has waited outside the library for her to finish her schoolwork for the past week, and on her way to her car she always saw him sitting on the same bench facing the direction she parks in. I was admittedly a bit concerned, but it's college. Everybody has a routine. Maybe his was to wait for someone outside the library and then go sit on a bench. I tell her that I'll go to the library during her study hour with her and I'll do some of my work. And if the guy has any ill intentions, he'll back off once he sees me with her. Now, it's important to note that I don't appear physically intimidating at all. I'm very slender and I don't look muscular at all. I figured I was probably going to scare somebody away, but it was worth a shot. Plus, it comforted her at the time. We go to study and we're sitting in front of the glass windows that separate the library from the hallway, and suddenly she nudges my notebook and whispers while still looking down at her work, "He's watching us. Look by the staircase doors." I look over and I see a guy who's at most 35 years old. I figured there's no way he worked there. He looks too young, and I couldn't tell if he was in his late 20s or his early 30s, but he looked really young but experienced, if that makes any sense. Not somebody you'd expect to be stalking somebody or anything. He had a messenger bag with him, so I figured he might have been a student. Me thinking quickly and wanting to see if this guy was really stalking my girlfriend, I told her to get up and pretend to leave. I told her to leave the library and go downstairs towards the caf. She listens and gets about 30 seconds down the hall before the guy starts following her. I immediately knew something was up with this guy. He's stalking my girlfriend. I rush out of the library and he's only a few meters down the hall, so as I casually as I possibly could spark a conversation with this guy, pretending like I recognized him from somewhere. I asked him if I could walk with him, and he said sure. Him and I walked downstairs, and my girlfriend was almost never out of sight. He followed probably 15 meters behind her the whole way down the cafeteria. He sits down at a table, and I pretend to have to keep on walking just to be formal with him and say goodbye and nice meeting you and such. As soon as I get outside the door, I call my girlfriend and tell her to come out here. He was following her, and she's really suspicious of me now because I was acting weird. I told her when she gets outside to come around the corner of the building so that he couldn't see her when she's walked from the inside and would attempt to come around here looking for her. And lo and behold, he comes out about a minute after her and turns into us. I was standing there with her, and he's looking at us, the two of us, and all I say is, "Why the fuck are you following my girlfriend?" He played it off as coincidence, and I wish I could say the story ends here, but it doesn't. After that, he ramped up his harassment. He texted her that night saying, "Why the fuck was your boyfriend so mouthy with me today?" She didn't know who he was and she texted him saying wrong number, and he replied with, "No, it's not." On campus, he started putting letters and gifts in her mailbox and slashed my tires, but stopped waiting outside the library. I hadn't seen him for weeks at this time, but he was completely terrorizing my girlfriend, and I was helpless about it this time, because he was invisible and he was hiding in plain sight apparently. But we never saw him, and I was ready to seriously hurt this guy. The last night I saw the guy, I was staying at my girlfriend's house, and her family was out late visiting some more of her distant family relatives that lived about an hour away. It was just us in her house, and we heard a window shatter. We locked her bedroom door and called the police, who instructed her to stay on the phone with them. We had no idea who it was. All that was clear was that somebody just broke into her house. I carry a knife on me almost everywhere with me, so I just got that out. It's a little knife I got as a bachelor gift for my brother's wedding, but I was ready to seriously hurt somebody if they tried hurting me or my girlfriend at this point. We hear him walking around the outside door. Suddenly he starts opening other doors in the house, but never closing them. He checks the pantry, the basement door, her parents' room, and the bathroom. By the time he gets to her bedroom door, we're all well aware he's nearby. We found out he was there when he jiggled the door handle and realized it was locked. He started saying, "Aw, honey, what's wrong? Are you scared now? I bet you wish that guy you call your boyfriend was here to protect your pretty self." He then kicks the door so hard the bottom panel cracks. It's not broken, just a giant crack in the wood. She screams and I just yell out, "I'm here, you fuck. You will breathe your last breath in the room if you come in here. Get the fuck out of this house and leave us the fuck alone." As an intimidating voice as I could able to muster, I was too scared. Luckily, just as I said that, the police came and arrested the guy. The window he smashed was the sliding door on her back porch. My girlfriend was just severely shaken up, and I was just fucking, my god. I cried a lot, and I was really, really scared. But at the time, I had a lot of adrenaline running through me. I was really ready to kill a person that night. That mindset is something I will forever remember. Once you are actually in a situation where you might have to defend yourself and kill somebody, you really begin to understand how much animal instinct dictates your behavior. It's terrifying to even know I was capable of thinking that way. My ex-girlfriend and I are still very close friends to this day, but we don't talk about this ever. I know her memory of this still messes with her because she sometimes sends me paranoid text messages about seeing someone looking at her. The saddest thing that she sends me is that she's afraid to go to her house because she's walked in and all the doors are wide open, like the guy left them that night. She's terrified of doors being open around her because she thinks people could be hiding in those rooms, or that somebody is searching for her. We broke up for reasons unrelated to this, but I still love her as a friend, and she will be my closest friend ever. We very well could have died that night, and I'm really happy she told me about this guy when she did, otherwise it might have been too late. The guy ended up being a repeat offender who had been in prison before for breaking into a girl's house that he'd been stalking before. Stalking laws actually don't exist, so he was only charged with a break-in entry. How the fuck do these people get released back into the public? They should be treated at a psychiatric hospital. He didn't have anything with him that night either during the break-in, except for a box of trash bags in his car. Hey guys, thanks for staying this long if you were watching. Some of the stories in here, man, were pretty scary, especially for the last one. I don't think I'll be going away to college anytime soon. But anyways, guys, if you did stick this long and watch or listen to all the 3 scary stories, I thank you for that. If you guys want to see more, you can like my channel and put a subscribe button for more content. I actually have a review channel that I really want you guys to check out also. I do movie reviews as well as nightmare stories. This is just another common interest of mine, but if you guys did stay this long through the video, then sincerely thank you all for watching, and I hope to give you guys more videos sooner to come. So thank you guys, and have a good day.